So it's finally happened. We're actually finally doing this. For once on like actually recording it. We've done this episode and future episodes. I don't know how many times we've done this. So welcome back. This is actually the very first episode of the Just Your Average podcast. And with me today, I'll just go ahead and let him introduce himself. But he is the man, the myth, and the legend.
All right, my name's Colt. Like DJ said, we've pretty much already done this podcast. I don't know how many times cruising back roads at way too late in the night, in the morning. And
Yep. Seeing the sunrise is always a beautiful thing when you've been up all day already and have to be at work in the morning.
Yeah, usually the sunrise was telling us it was time to go home.
Numerous Taco Bell runs, you guys are going to hear a lot of stuff, and for anyone who doesn't know me very well and they're going to be shocked by some of this, I do apologize right now as it is. It's going to be unique. We'll just leave it at that. But like Colt said, we've been doing this for years, and so to get you guys kind of caught up on everything, I guess the best place to start would actually be the beginning for once. So Colt and I, we went to high school here with each other, and our small little hometown high school, and oddly enough, we didn't really know each other all the greatest until about high school. Like, we kind of knew each other in passing like most people do there, and we just kind of, it was what, first hour gym, wasn't it, that we had that year?
Yeah, it was first hour gym because I was always really, really tired.
Yeah, I remember that because there were some events that we'll probably talk about later with all the fire department shit there that happened that we may or may not get into there. But so we picked lockers near each other, but there's this guy who we mutually kind of didn't like at the time. And I just remember we were putting up our gym clothes, and I just remember you can go, man, I can't fucking stand that guy. And I'm like, dude, fucking same. And the rest, I guess, is really his history from there on how we really became friends. After that, we did weightlifting with each other, which is the reason why we're not so strong right now, is probably because we didn't take weightlifting as seriously as we should have.
Yeah, I mean, everybody was in there always taking it real seriously and doing all their maxes, and we had these little plastic weights that looked like the 45-pound weights you'd put on. Every time we had a sub, we'd put them on there, and those plastic weights only weighed like 5 pounds, weren't they?
Oh, 5, yeah. It was like 5 pounds, and I think that's a generous 5 pounds is what they gave him, because I swear the 2.5s felt a little heavier than that.
But we'd put them on there, and we'd just be lifting the entire time. Sub would look over at us and be like, man, you guys are really doing a lot of weight, and we should have gotten a Grammy for how well we were acting on how heavy.
I felt so sorry for Mr. Stone, because I'm not sure if you knew. Mr. Stone's a smart man. I've known him from baseball. You know, I was catching a lot when he was umpiring. So I got in there right. He's a smart man. There's no way he did not know that we were messing around in there. Like when we're struggling with these just 2 5-pound weights that look like just 2 45-pound weights, one on each side, and we're struggling, and he knows how strong we are because we picked him up off the floor one time because he got hit in the head with something. I mean, surely he knows by now, you know. Like, I think he do. I just don't think he cared. You know, I think that's what a lot of it was, is they just didn't care.
I mean, honestly, if you're a substitute teacher for a PE, your job is to make sure we don't die.
Yeah, that's really about it. And then, God, there was so many, I was, really just going through our mile time, especially the inside mile. Hey, what lap are you on? I'm going to go with 8? 8? You guys have been walking a minute. Oh, we really probably should have tried a little bit harder in PE now that we're looking back on it. Because now we're just like, man, we want to lose weight and everything. But it's a little harder now than it was when we were like 7 years ago.
We were actually in decent shape. We just weren't small. But like we could run the mile in... I mean, if we actually tried, we could
generous
do it
fat kid time. We'll leave it at that. That's what we'll put it down as. Generous fat kid time. Because Colt and I, we are not no skinny twigs. We are some chunky brothers here, you know? That's exactly what we are. We're some chunky brothers. I've been calling myself Chunky Daddy. You guys will hear that story some other time. Because I know Mila, who does all my artwork and everything, and who I live with and, in a relationship with, she loves that story, and she will tell everyone that story the minute she gets the chance to. And I don't know why she loves it so much. She thinks it's better than the Hershey's Kiss story, I'm pretty sure. I don't think so.
I think the Hershey's Kiss story kind of tops that one just because the first time you ever said it,
I was so pissed. I was still so pissed because it was still fresh. Now I can kind of look back on it and laugh and everything. But I remember we were coming from Taco Bell with Connor, weren't we?
We were.
And I was just, you're like, what's wrong? And like I was going through, well, we're going to tease the story right now. That's what we're going to do here just for you guys. So you guys will have to keep coming back because it's like crack. I give it to you in small doses and you have to keep coming back for it.
We give you just the tip.
Just the tip. Sorry, Mom and Dad. But I was going through a rough breakup at the time, and there was some unpleasantries going on, and there was some other stuff going on. We'll tease all that. Should we even mention those car ride stories or the stuff with the raccoon and our random pee breaks?
I would recommend not, because I'm not going to admit to anything that might come up in court.
I cannot confirm nor deny type deal.
Exactly. Plausible deniability.
But so, hey, we became really good friends in high school. I think we really started bonding maybe in Anderson's class. It was probably, a lot of his psych classes and his history classes where the little corner, it was me, you, Connor, and the person who we're not going to say right now because of the little eyebrow wave you gave me. Let's just say someone who, she may have been engaged, but she was certainly engaged to your Peter.
Suck a golf ball through a garden. I was like, them.
This is about what I figured our podcast would be like. So we need to figure out. I didn't know Colt's real name for the longest time. We'll go ahead and just shift lanes real quick. Colt is not his actual real name. I'm not sure if he wants his actual real name being said, but we'll just kind of gloss right over it. It wasn't until I realized what his real name was when I found a lunch card on the ground one day, and I picked it up and I'm like, this is Colt. Who's making fake lunch cards around here? And why are you making fake lunch cards around here? We're small, there's 60 of us in our graduating class. They look at our IDs we're going to find out that's not you. When, say Spurge that counts the urge picks up your lunch card or something, no, but I hand it back to him I think someone made a fake ID. He goes, no, that's just my real name. And I was baffled because I thought I was the only one that went by a nickname that no one knew his real name his entire life. So I'm glad I wasn't the only one.
I'll say, I really don't care if people know my real name, but it's actually Timothy because the only reason I went by Colt, my dad's name's Timothy. So whenever Mom would yell, Timothy, get your ass out here, both of us would go running in there and we didn't know which one was in trouble. So it was easier if I just went by my middle name. That way, whenever you're getting yelled at, you know what you did.
Yeah, I feel like my initial should actually be TD instead of TJ because my mom would always hit me with the Tyler dammit instead of Tyler Joseph. So that would be that. And I'm sure she'll get a nice little kick out of that because she does listen to these, which is why earlier I had said, sorry, Mom, because Mom and Dad are going to learn a lot about me in these podcasts and a lot they probably don't need to know or probably stuff they didn't want to know. And that's going to be the best part. We really should have Connor on this maybe next episode since we're going to be talking a lot about post-high school because that's where really the three of us, at one point there were the three of us. We were all super tight and, just life kind of got in the way and that's kind of what drifted us apart. But we're all kind of coming back together now. We've kind of got life going in the same directions it feels like now. So, but it used to be the three of us and we would get in trouble. Not really in trouble. We got away with a lot of stuff we probably shouldn't have.
We did, but the only reason we got away with it was because we were always the kids that nobody thought we did anything except do our homework and go home and nose to the grindstone kind of kids whenever we were skipping out of class to go run into town.
That is honestly probably one of my favorite actual high school involved stories. And so I'll kind of backtrack here to tell you people. My car, it was a good starter car is how we'll put it. It was a Pontiac Grand Prix, real nice maroon red, none of the windows worked. Two of the windows worked, two of the windows didn't. The two windows that didn't work, however, were the driver's side window because the motor just burned out, and then the back right passenger side from when I hit a deer. And I'll tell that story after a bit because I think I've told my parents the lie long enough that it was a deer. Because they're not dumb. I think they know. At least I hope they know.
If not, they're going to find out.
If not, they're going to find out. But I had to go and get some mechanic work done at a shop that was in our hometown. And unfortunately, I was dumb. I couldn't get a passing grade in my math class for the longest time to sign out for our seventh hour, wasn't it? 7th hour sign out. But Colt could, and I had Mr. Anderson, who was probably the coolest, most chill teacher. You could probably just walk in and just like start yelling a bunch of really weird propaganda, and he'd just look it up on InfoWars and be like, "Yeah, no, that's probably true," you know. And so I'm like, "Hey, Mr. Anderson, I gotta go to the bathroom," you know. So I left the entire 7th hour period, hopped in Colt's truck. We went into town, which is like 8 miles away from her. About 5 to 8, wouldn't you say?
It's from the school. It's probably like 3 to 5.
3 to 5? Okay. But went there, picked up my car, didn't come back for class. Like that 7th hour. It was like at the end of the day, you had 15 minutes till school got out. The way they budgeted their time was weird because I don't know why you couldn't just give us like 15 extra minutes of lunch or something like that. A lot of things we didn't agree with the school system.
I'll say that school never made sense, but it was in the middle of cornfields, so I'm pretty sure that's why it didn't make sense.
I'm pretty sure we learned how to count corn, and instead of counting actual numbers. I think that's how we learned to count.
I'm pretty sure ag classes are almost mandatory.
Oddly enough, I never took an ag class, but I'm pretty sure that's because my mom subbed for the ag teacher enough. They probably assumed I just knew,
I took an intro to ag class, and that was basically just as a blow-off class because, like, we're sitting there counting seeds, and the teacher hated me enough that he gave me a passing grade because I bitched so much in his class. I'm like, this is stupid. I'm never going to do this. I'm either going to make your life hell, or you can give me a passing grade.
So I'll give you the choice here because I've got 2 stories in my mind right now off the top of my head. And there's the one where the fuck school we doing shit, which I know you remember very well. Or, God, what was the other one going to be? Oh, yeah, all the gym stories. Like the laps, the yoga pant trio, all the stories we heard about that one.
I'll add in a third option.
Oh, boy.
When were you planning on explaining everything on your car?
That will be later. That will come into our relationship section of this podcast.
Our relationship?
I like the way that sounds.
I mean, your mom already thought we were in one. That'll come up for an explanation a little bit later, too.
Yeah, let's just not even... I can feel my face getting red. I don't like that. So, I'll let you pick. We'll throw your option out. We're throwing that to the side there. That one will come up later because I figure we have a lot of fun. Not necessarily making fun of our exes, but we have a lot of funny stories from our past relationships, as do most people do. I mean, if you really don't have a lot of fun stories to tell, like stuff that you guys had little inside jokes or whatever, then all of a sudden now you guys are divorced because they're cheating bitches. And then you can kind of tell these stories now with your buddies around bonfires or car rides or when you're absolutely hammered and Connor won't stay on his cot. That'll be brought up some other time. So I'll let you pick. I'll let you take the reins on that one.
Oh.
I know it's a tough choice. I mean,
it really is.
You want to just do the fuck school we do and shit?
I like fuck school because we were kind of on that road already.
Yeah, we were kind of on that road already. So... It was, junior year? Yeah, junior year.
A lot of stuff happened
junior year. Senior year just really flew by. It really did. But junior year, we have to do for our English class these junior videos. And, God, we were doing Super Troopers. I remember now. We were making fun of Super Troopers. We had to do, we had a couple different options. Like, you could make your own commercial or you could recreate a scene from... different movies. So if you haven't seen it, there's a scene in Super Troopers where they play the meow game, which is where you have to see how many times you say the word meow. Now, I would use this excuse to leave study hall or my English class. Now, my English class took place at the same time his study hall class did. And study hall, if you just talk to Mr. Alt, and he believed you, and most of the time he did believe you because he's an awesome dude. And we actually did have the intentions of trying to work on this, and there's a train coming now, so I'm sorry if you people hear that. But, we did have the intention of going and working on my English project until we got outside and realized how much of a beautiful day it was. And this is back around the time when Mountain Dew made the Baja Blast in the cans. I don't know how many of those we bought in our lifetime. That's one of the questions I'm asking when I get up to heaven or hell, whichever one I'm going to, is how many cans of Baja Blast did we buy? Whether for, just normal drinking or mixing drinking, like, it's a lot.
Probably a lot. If I could have all the money I spent on Baja Blast and Taco Bell and extracurricular activities.
Which will be brought up later, I'm sure. Oh, I don't like that story either. But so we went out there, and we actually had every intention of kind of recording some, because we had Mikey with us there for a bit, and then Kenzie was there, and then Mikey and Kenzie went off and kind of did their own thing, which, congrats on them, they're married now, so good for them. But we decided that, hey, you know what? Let's just not do anything. We just sat on his tailgate the entire period, because we had, we knew on our phones kind of when that class would end. We just sat on his tailgate, talked, and just drank Mountain Dew. Like, welcome to small town, school there. Like, staring into a cornfield, going, we could just leave and no one would notice, because the next hour is that little study hour. No one's going to know. Like,
that, and the one time we actually did start recording something, it was hilarious. I don't even remember why we actually decided we wanted to do something, but we're like, we might want to get something.
Because I had 2 days to finish it. That's why we just started to start doing it. Procrastination was key.
I mean, that was kind of our motto in high school. But, so we were out there recording
do today.
Exactly. And we were out there recording stuff, and we had it set up. Yours was like somebody was being stopped. I had a blue light in my truck for the fire department. So we lined up. Whose car was it in front of my truck?
I thought it was Mikey's. No, Mikey had his Jeep, so it must have been Kenzie.
And so
No, it was Connor. Connor, because we got Connor to come out.
We did.
We got Connor to come out because he was too busy. I don't remember what he was doing the first couple of times. No, he actually wanted to do his homework. He was a good student there for a bit until we started really getting into his head and corrupting him. But we had him come out there, and we had pulled him over, and I believe at that time it was our principal.
It was Butler.
Butler, yeah. And Mr. Butler, he's a big man. You meet him in a dark alley, you better hope you don't make it. He is the sweetest guy, like one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. Until he starts yelling at you, and then it's terrifying. If it was I'm glad Butler was the one that did, because he kind of caught us like, yes sir, moment, like we're like, oh crap, we're screwed now, boys, like they found out. Now if it was Hall on the other hand, I probably would have just walked. Then he would have, because Mr. Hall is not a big man, tall-wise, but Butler's just like, he looked like he could bench press you and not even sweat it,
I'm pretty sure I've seen him bench press me.
Yeah, but he's just like, what are you guys doing? Working on my English project, sir. And at least I didn't call him ma'am like I do other people. God. See.
This is why we can't do nice things.
Yeah,
because
we just keep, we're like dogs with ADD, squirrel. Anyway, so we did we told him that we were actually doing our project. For one thing, we were actually doing our project, and it was kind of impressive. And he's like, oh, hey, that's a lot of fun. Looks like you guys are enjoying yourselves. And we were, and I think we actually had to leave that day where we went off to that country road.
That was after school.
Yeah. After school, we went to that one road that we went, hey, should be a good banging spot sometime. And I met up with, I didn't meet up with Dakota there, but he was already there, and I was going there, and then, hey, this is my spot, you dickhead, go find your own spot. He goes, I can't at my house because my parents are here, you go find your own spot. And yeah, good times. If you guys have ever been in high school in a small town, you understand you guys can't always do it at your house, so your car was your lovemaking area.
And whenever you go to a small high school, there's always a bunch of country roads around. There's always dirt or gravel lanes that you can drive down and nobody knows.
Nobody will find you. So, but yeah, and I remember Mikey burnt his hands on the top of his hood. Because it was like, what? It was like 105 that day or something like that.
I knew it was hot. It was really hot.
And so fast forward, because after we get all the recording stuff, I got an A. I almost got an A+. The only reason why I didn't get an A+ was because of our bonus scenes that we had. She said for us not to do anything stupid. Now, Colt and I telling us not to do anything stupid is just giving us a red button on the wall saying, do not touch. We're going to do something stupid. So we were driving down the road, And I'm like, I call, and I'm like, hey, stop real quick. Let's do this. I get on top of Colt's truck, have him roll down the windows, and I'm like hugging the top of his cab. And we have them pulling, like, we're driving beside them, and I lean over. I've got on my sunglasses and my hat on backwards. I'm like, meow, do you know why I pulled you over? She pulled me aside after class and said that she was not giving me my A+, which I thought I very well deserved, because of reckless stupidity. Fair enough, I get it. Still not as bad when I did get my A+ for the other junior video we had to do, because we were doing the fast food lasagna, and I had one guy who wasn't even in our group go, it's angled for her pleasure. If you guys haven't seen the fast food lasagna thing, look it up. I think it's like Epic Mealtime or something like that.
I think so.
It's the heart attack in a pan. It's like 8,000 calories. It's like you get flamethrower burgers from Dairy Queen. You get like double cheeseburgers from McDonald's. You get fries. You get a couple other double cheeseburgers from like Wendy's or something like that, or Burger King.
I think it's Burger King.
And you like cover that in like ketchup and fries and onion rings and cheese, and you just keep layering. How are we not dead from having to eat that? Because we ate that multiple times, I believe. Because we ate it once for that video.
I never had it.
I know you never had it. I'm talking about like me. We had it for that video. We had it for 4th of July a couple years. I'm surprised. Like, if I go to an early grave, it's because of that.
Really? That's the only reason you can think of?
The only reason. I'm a good child, Colt. I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, sorry. So I had that cough. It's that morning cough. Most guys will understand it's a morning cough type deal. Let me just drink my coffee real quick. Cinnabon.
He's white girling out over
I am white girling out. At least I didn't go to Starbucks for it. You know, I made it my Keurig in my kitchen. So I'm like suburban dadding it or something like that, you know. So I guess the next thing, we can just talk about some of our gym stories there.
Well, we already kind of touched on the whole running the mile thing.
Yeah,
so.
Well, I guess we could go there. Like I said earlier, Colt and I are not small boys. We are some big guys. Running is not our expertise. We do not like to run. If you see us running, you should probably run, because that means something bad's happening.
We coined the term Fat Man Shuffle.
Yes.
Specifically for the mile.
And if you haven't seen the Fat Man Shuffle, it's where you just look like you're running, but you're really just kind of dragging your feet along. And whenever we have like our, hey, this is what, you know, make your time mile what you want it to be. So we do the Fat Man Shuffle. So when we do our actual mile, it looks a hell of a lot more impressive. Because I think our Fat Man Shuffle mile was, what, 10 minutes, 11 minutes?
Yeah, I think so.
And
then pretty much a walk.
Yeah.
Like, we could walk the same speed.
We didn't lose any wind or breath or anything. And then when we did our actual mile, it was, what, like 8 minutes or so?
Yeah, 8 or 9 if we were actually doing something, not just walking it.
Not just like, well, let's just stick behind those three real quick. They've got yoga pants on today.
Well, actually, that's how we got our 8-minute mile.
That is how we got our 8-minute mile. Because those three ran, well, 2 of them ran cross country and track, didn't they? And the other one was just a really good cheerleader.
Yeah, and so, like, they would actually be able to run, and they were pretty much in shape, and the yoga pants made the shape even better.
Why didn't Connor ever run with us?
I don't think Connor was in that PE with us.
He was our senior year. I remember that much. Our junior year.
Because Connor was one of those people who was actually in shape, and he would actually run it.
Until he cut off his finger. Only part of his finger. I had to give him a little bit of credit. He only cut off, like, the tip of his... What was it? No, and not only cut it off, he crushed it, didn't he?
Yeah, it was like in a forklift. He got it smashed, and
we'll have him on and have him tell the story because it's a fun story.
It does
for us, not necessarily for him. Obviously, because he lost part of his finger. Which I guarantee you, he'll listen to this, and I'll get a text. Fuck off. It's the only 2 words I'll get. Which, speaking of Connor and saying fuck off, his most recent fuck off to me was he's been playing Madden 19 Ultimate Team because he got his PlayStation back after selling a Switch, and
because he sold his PlayStation for the Switch, didn't
he? Yes, he did. But so he's been playing Madden, and he grind 18 solos to get a guaranteed 94 to 98 overall, either defense, offense, or specialty person. Now you've seen Connor play Madden in NCAA. What's the one thing he never does?
Run the ball.
Oh no, he's actually running the ball now. I'm talking about special teams. What's the one thing he never does?
He never does anything other than a fake.
Yeah, he never punts the ball now. He actually kicks field goals.
Oh, he actually learned how to do that?
He's not very good at it still because EA likes to fuck him. And trust me, I've seen it. EA does fuck him.
EA likes to fuck everybody. I mean, that's kind of what EA does.
He got a 98 overall punter from grinding those 17, 18 solos to get that 94, 98 overall. Gets the 98 overall punter. He can't even sell it. Can't trade it in. Can't nothing. So he has a 98 punter he will never use.
It's like me whenever I played Madden. I would always mess with the sliders and like turn everything up. That way the final game is like 120-0.
Sebastian Janikowski kicking 85-yard field goals.
The longest field goal I ever kicked was actually, I want to say it was like 79 yards or something like that because I still could have gone further. But
yeah. I still can't beat Connor in Madden. I'm like 0 for 6 against him right now. Like, you remember, like, in NCAA, I'd kick his ass all the time. And then Madden 16, I'd kick his ass. And then 17 came out. And then I could never beat him after that. Like, it was just like, it's bashing my head against the wall for trying to figure out how to beat him. I still haven't beaten him. I couldn't beat him at 18. Haven't beaten him at 19 yet. I don't know what it is.
It's that next gen stuff. We're used to the old Maddens where you actually had to do stuff and
yeah, where you could have a run and pass defense and offense and actually be viable. Now, if you're just not throwing the ball in slants or find the one broken play in the game, Connor, in 17 with this 26 duo and just a bunch of other broken plays, that game was so broken, man.
Engage really 8 for everything.
Engage 8 does not work on Madden. It works wonderfully in NCAA. Does not work very well in Madden because I have ran that play against him. And
well, to kind of explain what Engage 8 is, I guess we should touch on that and assume not everybody listening is going to
be I guess.
Game nerds. So basically, you send everybody on the defense other than 3 people rushing towards the line trying to
you have one safety up in the center and 2 cornerbacks on the side, and they're just running deep zone coverage. Everyone else is like, we're going to get the quarterback.
So basically, if that quarterback can get the ball off at all,
like a slant route or any type of short, quick throw, you're fucked.
Pretty much.
So, I don't know the random Discord thing.
I just saw Boop the Noodle, and I'm like, why are you bringing snake
Boop's
stuff?
the Snoodle. That's one of my friends, Josh. He's a cool cat. He'll actually probably be on it at some point because me and Mila and all are pretty close in doing that type of stuff. I think he actually does his own with Dylan. Not Dylan from our school. Dylan, I know.
I figured.
But I think he does one. He's done a few with Dylan, I'm pretty sure. But he's a pretty cool cat. So, no, okay. Sorry, we're getting distracted by this Discord. I know this isn't very good podcasting, but like, you guys are here anyway. I've got you in. You guys can understand in their like minute or so of us being distracted, and now I'm stalling for time trying to figure out where do we go from here because I kind of lost our train of thought.
Well, we were talking about high school and how we were running the Fat Man Mile, and Connor cut his finger off.
Which one did you like better? Did you like Rado or Clapmore as your coach, or the? Actually, I don't think we ever really had Rado for weightlifting. I senior year I didn't do weightlifting. I just did normal PE because I had my then girlfriend at the time in normal PE, and she didn't want to do weightlifting.
See, I always did weightlifting just because I could dick off, and like I wouldn't have to play all the games that PE had to play. We could just go in the weight room, lift weights.
Yeah.
And like TJ said, I would always set my max.
Super low.
I've done it enough. I knew where I had to be at the end of the year. I'd find my max for that, and then like I'd drop 20 pounds or whatever and say that was my max. I could just do 10 pounds every semester and pass and not have to do shit.
And really, for our jobs, the only weightlifting thing that was going to help us was squats or curls.
We actually did our squats.
Yeah, our squats we took very seriously because we were our sexy calves we were very proud of.
And that's one thing, that Fat Man Shuffle, it's like a bouncy walk, so you get your calves working up, and I actually got a compliment on my calves saying they were very sexy.
And that's still a joke. I if I see her on Snapchat or something every once in a while, I'll just be like, hey, how about them sexy calves, and just... I don't think I've maybe talked to her maybe 8 or 9 times since we've graduated, and it's just all been about either sexy calves or congratulating her on passing college, and all that stuff. But I think that bouncing thing was also why I got a good baseball butt now.
Maybe that's what your girlfriend said, but...
Yeah. She likes to play with the butt quite a bit. gets a little concerning sometimes about, like, I'm not sure who's obsessed with whose butt more, whether I'm more obsessed with hers or she's more obsessed with mine. But I won't bring into that. Well, we're going to skirt right on the other side of this. Because this isn't what you guys want to hear. You guys want to hear some funny-ass stories. So, I guess, God, where do we want to go from here? Because really, Jim, we had some good moments in there, but weren't really funny moments. I guess the best funny moments happened really outside of school.
Which that's where most of your funny moments from high school come from.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you can only get by with you can only push that envelope so far.
Yeah, you really can. Like us trying to joust in the hallway on the final day of senior year. I don't know how Anderson let us do this, but so we took rolly chairs. So our school was one hallway straight, another hallway at a diagonal, another hallway straight. That was it. It was one hallway. You got lost in our school? I don't know where the hell you were. You must have ended up in the band room and just got completely confused because the band room was up a set of really creepy stairs that I swear, like, there could have been two twins standing there going, "You're going to come play with us forever and ever and ever." But we decided to take two of Mr. Anderson's rolling chair and a bunch of his expo markers. And we would push people like we were jousting in the hallway as he was blaring "School's Out Forever," you know? Which it was for us until we went to college, which, God, that was a mistake.
Quick tip. If you don't have to go to college for whatever you want to go into, don't.
And make sure you go for what you want to go to at first and you don't just drop out.
That kind of...
Don't give me that look.
That's kind of towards both of us there.
I wasn't even thinking you. I was thinking me on how I went for psychology initially, and then I realized I'm too messed up to do psychology, and I was going through some other things at the time. I'm going to drop out, which we'll get to that later on what happens after that. That's all. That'll be in the next episode of our post-college. Right now, we want to get to the college, the high school experience, not the college experience. So, I guess, should we just go straight into our cruises? All our cruise sessions? Or do we want to go to our... Actually, no, we won't do the cruise sessions right away because that's not where we got our cruise sessions idea. The cruise session started when we were working at Panks together.
Oh, God.
Which really kind of started our driving habits the way it is today. So Panks was a pizza service there in our hometown, and I was looking for a job at the time because I had left McDonald's because that was a shit hole. And if you've ever worked at McDonald's, you understand what I mean when I say McDonald's is a shithole to work at. But so I went to this local mom and pop pizza place on Colt's recommendation, and they wanted me to be a delivery driver. And Colt was also a delivery driver. And I'm not sure if you want to tell the first delivery story, the one where you slipped and fell and busted your ass, or if you want me to tell it and you can tell your perspective of the next one, because I always get my perspective off a little wrong, and you are great at telling me the perspective. So I'll tell the one where you fell.
Sounds good.
It had been really snowy and icy when I started doing delivery. They wanted me to ride Colt to kind of learn on how to do the area. That's where a lot of old blue memories started, was right there at Pank's Pizza. I'll be forever grateful to Pank's Pizza for that. But so Kim, and bless Kim's heart, probably one of the best bosses I've ever had. She was so sweet, especially whenever I got my car stuck in the mud.
And she told you not to pull it out, and then you made a phone call, and we went and got you pulled out.
It was just magically out. We didn't do it. I don't know what you... But so, Colt was like, here, I'll take this first delivery, because these apartments, there's like these little weird apartments that after I go to the old job that I used to work at in Greenup as well, where we worked on the ambulance service together. We used to go there quite a bit. But so he was going up this ramp, and he went there, and wasn't the girl, like, stoned as shit and not wearing socks or something like that?
She was. Like, she answered the door, and she was just kind of staring at me. I'm like, did you order a pizza? And she said, I think so. Like, do you have money for the pizza? And she gave me, I don't even remember how big of a tip she gave me. I think she just pulled money out of her wallet and handed it to me and walked out.
I think I remember you telling me about that. And you're like, well, there's fuel from our truck for the week. I'm like, for the week? No. But so, as he's coming back, because of all the ice, like, he almost slipped with the pizzas going up, you know? And he slips on the way down. Like, it looks like he slips on banana peel in the cartoon, like, a whip, and just, boom, landed straight on his ass. And I can see I'm too busy laughing to try and go out and help him because he's already getting up. I see he's good. He doesn't need my help. So I immediately start laughing because that's what any good friend does. He gets in the truck, and he goes, my ass hurts, you're taking the next delivery. Because we had a second delivery going to Toledo, just, next town over pretty well. And I'll let you go ahead and just take this one from here.
So we pull up, and I thought I recognized the name, but I wasn't 100% sure. So we get there and pull in the driveway, and I tell him, I'm like, here's the thing with the money and everything that we keep for change and ticket, and kind of give him the quick rundown of what he needs to do. I mean, it's delivering pizzas. It's not the hardest job in the world. It doesn't take a rocket surgeon. But, so he walks up there, knocks on the door, and this girl comes to the door.
You say girl. She was a woman.
She was definitely a woman. And my sister went to school with her, and if she listens to this, I'm sorry. So she comes to the door, and she's just been relaxing at her house apparently all day. And she just has on some of the shortest, like those Sophie shorts. Yep. Some of the shortest shorts I've ever seen in a tank top. And that's it. And TJ is he's just kind of sitting there knowing what's coming.
Yep.
So he looks there. She opens the door. His jaw shoots down from his mouth, smacks the pizza box, and he almost drops the pizza right in front of this lady.
I caught it. It was a good save. Even she said it was a good save.
It was a good save, even though he almost got drool on it. But he does that.
I'm going to be in trouble when Milo listens to this. I already know it. Oh, sorry, hon. Love you.
So he almost drops it and picks it up. And I can just imagine what he's saying. He's probably like, I'm sorry, ma'am. I'm sorry, ma'am. I'm sorry, ma'am.
Ma'am shit again, really?
So he picks it up, gives it to her, gets the money and everything, comes back, and I am dying. Like he said before, whenever I fell, he was dying. This was my turn.
It was karma. I shouldn't have laughed at him.
You really shouldn't have. That's what you get when you laugh at your friends and don't make sure they're okay. But I'm pretty sure I fell over in the truck, because when you came over, you didn't know if I was still in it.
Yeah, that's true. You were like... I could have swore you were in the back seat. That's how hard you were laughing as you had jumped back. But I came back and Colt's like, so, you like delivering pizzas? I'm like, I do. Let's go get some more. Let's go. I think she ordered another one about 15 minutes later.
Just because she wanted to say, no, it doesn't work like the porn scenes, in case anybody's wondering.
Yeah, no, she didn't order the extra small sausage.
Even though there was one that put cinnamon on it.
Oh, yeah.
Out of revenge.
Yeah, oh.
We never spit in anyone's pizza because, you just can't do that in food service.
It's just not healthy.
I mean, people don't actually do that. They say they're going to, but they won't. But there wasn't it a friend?
It was...
Kind of.
Yeah, let's just say, I mean, you know who it was. I mean, we're not going to go into details here. Let's just say they had pissed me off at the time, and they had came in, and I was making the pizzas. I wasn't doing the delivery driving, and I know they don't like their spicy stuff. And let's just say they had some those little red pepper flakes, had that mixed into their pizza, just because. I just heard my phone go off. I don't want to have it. Oh, there it is. I don't want to have that happen again, where you guys hear burn. Just burn.
Oh.
But let's see. One thing I also learned from delivering pizzas at Panks is no cars, no cops, no stop signs.
We worked at Panks. We know this shit.
Yeah, we work at Panks. We know this shit. Pretty much what we said is true on our late night cruises, because we live in a town of about 1,600 people at most. That's probably counting the cats, the dogs, the ferrets, the fish, all that shit. And
half the cemetery.
Everyone knew everybody. Like, one of my favorite stories from when I was younger, actually, about that was I had been walking around town with this girl at the time when I was about, 14 or so. And it got back to my parents before I even got home. They asked me, hey, why were you walking around with so-and-so? And I'm like, I wasn't walking around with so-and-so. Like, oh, no, we had multiple calls from people saying that you were walking around with so-and-so. So I was hosed. Like, if you did something, it was just best not to go home at the time,
And I remember whenever I stopped working at Panks, I think it was just because I couldn't get enough hours and everything. And
Yeah.
You were still working there doing deliveries.
Are you telling the story where I picked you up? Okay.
There'd be a lot of times he'd be working delivery that night, and like I'd be uptown hanging out with Connor, and we are really gonna have to get him in here.
Yeah.
And Connor was one of those people, he didn't like just driving around. He thought it was a waste of gas. But me and TJ, that's kind of what we did. We blew off steam. If anything happened, we went to a car. Mm-hmm. And I don't know how many times I'd either be at my house, uptown, randomly. I'd be in Pinks a couple times. He'd be like, hey, I'm going on delivery. You want to come? Yeah. Like, we'd go driving out in BFE.
I remember you two were leaving. You guys had came in to eat, and I was going on delivery. And you were walking across the street to go to Connor's car. And I pull up like, hey, get in. And you're like, Connor's like, no, I'm not getting in. You're like, all right. And like, already pulling open my passenger side door, lifting up the pizzas and everything, and putting him on your lap. Like, where are we going? I'm like, we're going to Montrose. You know, like, it's way out there.
Yeah, and you usually only do that like on the long ones. And usually Kim actually said she didn't care too much.
No, she really didn't. As long as we were being responsible, she didn't really care. But you remember jamming me out and like the CDs I had in my Pontiac were like, so we're going to listen to Disturbed, Skillet, 3 Days Grace, the Dark Souls soundtrack. Like, what are we jamming out to today, boys? Because I didn't have the aux cord at the time.
Yeah, which I actually still have CDs in my car.
Yeah.
And it's 2019. Like.
Yeah. I got CDs in mine still. I mean, I just plug in my phone, though, most of the time. But every once in a while, if I'm feeling a little nostalgic, I'll throw it. Actually, I lost that Skillet 3 Days Grace CD because I gave it to someone.
I still have mine.
I don't remember who I gave it to, though. I can't think off the top of my head who I gave it to, but it doesn't matter at the time because I've got the albums on my phone now. But we did a lot of driving. So there are no cars, no cops, no stop sign. We prided ourselves on having some of the fastest delivery times, which helped us in our field of EMS on trying to get the fastest delivery times and in the field of fire that we're in. And, oh, that was disgusting.
And I'm pretty sure we actually hold some of the fastest delivery times for EMS on our departments.
Yep. Well, I don't know. Tony, I still think, holds the land speed record.
That doesn't count because Tony was driving one of the vehicles Uncle Bill messed with, and he took the governor out of it.
That's true. That's very true.
And he would tune it because he was one of those people.
Yeah. But so we were rolling up, like, we have a lot of four-way stops in our small town. I don't know why we have so many stop signs. Like, the only four-way we truly respected were the flashing four-ways. But that's because that's like your, oh, we are almighty here stop sign. But, like, the other ones, nah, we just roll right through them. If we didn't see anybody coming, we go, no cars, no cops, no stop signs, whoop!
Well, it's because half the vehicles going through the town are golf carts with old people.
This is true. They're the golf carts of old people or young people trying to drive around or playing car tag, which I remember we never played car tag though.
No, because we always got told we mess our vehicles up, we had to fix them, and we're broke.
Yeah, we were broke. Yeah,
I couldn't afford to fix a car because I was playing car tag, and I don't think TJ could either.
Yeah, no, I couldn't either. Although somehow we could have managed going up to the Silver Bullet every other weekend, but that's when we changed jobs.
I was gonna say I was making better money then.
I was making better money then too. Yeah. I don't know, it was questionable. Some nights I'd make some really good money delivering pizzas. Like the night where I was taking someone to a hockey game and the guy just gave me a random $100 tip. He was drunk as shit, and we had to call him the next day to make sure it was okay I got that $100 tip. But he still gave me just a nice $100 tip. And it didn't get me anywhere with that person, but yeah, I mean, that's okay though.
Everybody always complains about people who are on drugs or drunk or whatever.
They are the best delivery people.
I'll say delivery drivers love them because they always tip you like crazy because they don't know what they're grabbing.
And they're just so happy to see you too. Like, I mean, you had it where you walk up and like, ugh, here's the money, leave. Like, I don't even know if I can see you. Drunk people or people that are high as shit, oh my God, we were angels sent from heaven to them, you know? Which I love. Like, seeing the smile and the, like, I won't forget because I remember going to there was a party going on one night over in Greenup. I don't remember whose party it was. I can't think off the top of my head. But, like, a bunch of our, classmates were there. And we showed up, and I think that may have been one of the few times in high school I was the coolest kid there. Because I walk in with 3 Chicago deep dish all-meat pizzas, and everyone's like, yo, what's up? Like,
yeah, I mean, that's...
They still didn't tip me. And I was not invited back. That's okay. We didn't like big parties, though. A lot of our parties were small gatherings with me, you, and Connor.
And sometimes Dalton.
And sometimes Dalton, yeah. I guess we could just go ahead and do this. Do you want to just go straight to these now?
We can, yeah. I'll say that's getting right towards the end of high school.
Yeah, we're getting right towards the end of high school. I'm sure we're missing a lot of stories that we'll probably touch up on the way back. We'll go backwards and backtrack on these quite a bit. You'll figure that out.
We don't do timelines.
No, timelines are just a myth in this world, and I apologize. And anyone who's actually ever heard me tell a story, my mom always said speak in Tejanese or trying to understand a story in Tejanese because I'll start at the beginning sometimes or I'll start at the end and work my way back. I'm sorry. You guys will catch on to this. I'm going to try and get better about it. No guarantees, though. I'm kind of set in my ways.
They've listened this long. If they're still in here,
they're good. If they're still in here, you guys are awesome and very dedicated to this, and I appreciate it because I'm just looking up at the timeline up here. We're already at 45 minutes, and I really appreciate it. I thank you very much. But, God, so, senior year, we...
Do we need to tell them some backstory before we get into the parties?
No. We're just going to go straight into our own little parties, then we can kind of throw in what we need to when we need to. Because it started off, it was just happy stuff. It was. So our parties consisted of going out to Colt's cabin, or the man shack, or the love shack, as Johnny affectionately calls it now. I love Johnny. And we'd clear it out. We'd set up 3 cots right there for me, Colt, Connor, sometimes Parker. We'd go each get a pint, it was a little pint of UV blue, and we'd share some Red's Apple Ale because we just started drinking. And no, I'm not going to rat out my supplier because I got you. Mom already knows who it is, so I'm sorry, but I got you. I'm not going to say your name. And so we would drink out there. And I remember the first time we ever drank, I was coming back from a baseball game. You guys were already pretty far gone. I just came back from a baseball game. I had like some sort of weird thing with my hip. I was on some painkillers at the time just because that's how much pain I was in. But I was still a team player trying to root on the team and everything. And I was told specifically not to mix these two, which I don't think hardly anyone ever does. That'll also be part of the reason why I go to an early grave is because of that. Because of these stories you're about to hear. They were already gone. Like, they were pretty giggly. When we get drunk, we get giggly. And so I did what any reasonable and rational person did. I took 6 straight shots and said, I'm a man. And let's just say I can't taste anything blue raspberry anymore because of it, really.
Most people who came through high school know the taste of blue UV
or UV anything. UV cherry, which Colt can't have. Oh, he just made the face. Which one makes you cringe more, UV cherry or tequila?
Probably tequila.
Probably tequila.
Because cherry was a one-time thing back when I was at an undisclosed age, at an undisclosed location.
You were of legal drinking age.
Yeah, always. That's how all these stores are. Just because, like, my supplier would kill me. Considering, I'm not even going to explain any.
Yeah, we're just going to right there.
Tequila, me and tequila don't get along because apparently I got super emotional and, like, couldn't remember anything. I remember one shot, and after that, apparently I had like 10 more.
You remember me throwing up?
I remember you throwing up, but that I hadn't had tequila yet.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. That was when we did our shots of Crown.
Yeah, we did Crown and Fireball. I can do those.
But we're getting ahead of ourselves. That's probably next episode level podcast. Maybe in 2 episodes down the road from now. We're still in high school, So I did my 6 shots. Said I was a man. And we just proceeded we each finished our pints. We finished off the 6-pack. One of us had to go pee. I don't remember who it was. I know it wasn't me. I think it was Connor. Mm-hmm. And we're really drunk. Really, really drunk at this time. I don't know why this compelled us to do this, or it compelled me. Colt. It didn't compel Colt. I really don't have much shame, and neither does Colt, but I really just don't care a lot of the times, so I will do things and not think about it, which anyone who knows me is shaking their head going, yep, that sounds about right, I don't know why I pulled down my pants and just decided to yell, hey, I'm covering you, like I was in some sort of war scene. So I got down in a crouching shooting position, shorts on the ground, underwear exposed. I think I was shirtless at the time.
You're always shirtless. When you drink, your shirt comes off.
Yeah, first drink, normally a shirt coming right off. It's kind of a bad deal. But at least I got a sexy body for it. I look like Shrek, if you're wondering. So we're yelling, we're covering him, and then we go back in, and the rest of the night's kind of a blur. I don't even remember most of that first night, besides just doing those shots.
Well, basically one of the main reasons brought up the whole covering thing is because we did that, and then Connor finished peeing, we went back inside and finished our drinks, and went to bed, and we'll get into the videos and everything after this. But the next morning...
Oh, shit. Okay.
And TJ apparently didn't know that we were going to touch on videos.
I didn't know we were going to touch on that part of the drinking, but okay, I like this.
But, so the next morning, we get up, and I'm pretty sure we're still halfway drunk, because, I mean, it was our first time.
Yeah, it's still in our system, because we woke up at 6 and we stopped drinking at 3.
Yeah. But, so we wake up, and you got to do the morning piss, anyway, because you've been drinking all night. And I don't remember, I think it was Connor had to go again.
And because he was trying to remember, what were you guys yelling as you, like, why was TJ without his shirt and no pants? What was he yelling at me as I was peeing? Because I'm yelling, helicopter, helicopter, as I'm peeing. And if you don't know the helicopter of a guy when he's peeing, I'm not sure if you should be listening to this. I probably should put at the beginning. I know we're like almost 55 minutes in. A little warning. This is for mature audiences only. And we're going to try and protect names of people who are going to be affected by some stories just because I don't want to be in trouble with any shit. Neither does Colt.
Right? But, so we went out there, and my parents, I still lived at home. This little drinking, like, shagging cabin whenever we were there. It was connected to our shed. Me and Dad built it on whenever I was, like, 12. But... So we were out there, we're redoing this entire scene, explaining it to Connor because he was too drunk to remember.
God, he was so bad.
And we had our back turned to the house, and my mom and, I don't remember if it was mom or dad, but it was one of them, they came outside to smoke.
I think it was just your mom.
I think it was, and that's what made it worse. It's because it's hard to explain stuff to her. That's why she's not going to be able to see this.
Yeah.
Or hear this. But, like... We're doing this whole, I'll cover you, and I'm pretty sure your shirt's still off.
Yeah, my shirt was still off. I was hot.
And it's really cold outside.
It's like 10 degrees. Yeah.
So we were out there, and we turned around, and she's standing there, and we're just like, how do we explain this one? She's like, what are you doing? And I can't explain to my mom that I was hammered, and I'm probably still hammered, because she's fairly strict. And
you were her little baby who never did anything wrong.
Yeah, like
especially not you.
They didn't find out about that one until I still have trouble. I can't do it around them still.
Well, it's just a respect thing. Like that's one thing about our parents is they raised us pretty well with respect and trying to be good and trying to do all the right things. Which is why when you heard Colt making fun of me for calling people ma'am earlier, that's something just I was raised. You know, I was raised to say ma'am, sir. I still do it today. And I'll just go ahead and spoil this little story now, which we'll touch on later. I believe I called a stripper ma'am about 14 times and then called her stripper ma'am. Oh, you think the numbers are up there?
You counted them.
I don't remember. I really don't right now off the top of my head.
31.
31? Okay. Oh, yeah, we did. So, like I said, I used to play baseball. We had a little pitch counter. And every time I said the word ma'am, I had to go click. And just, I think, I stopped keeping track there for a little bit.
I was keeping track, too.
Yeah. But so that's just kind of how we are. So, you know, just who we are. Mm-hmm. No shame in it. Little shame in saying ma'am all the time, but it's okay.
I'll say it's fine for most time. And like he said, with respect, I say ma'am too. It's just the reason I was giving him shit over it is because he called a stripper ma'am.
I couldn't remember her name. She wasn't my usual.
Like we said, we'll get into those stories later.
Yeah, that's... Oh, the money I wish we could have back on that. You want money back from Taco Bell and Baja Blast. I want my money back from that.
I tried figuring it up and I got scared.
I got scared too, especially after just counting one of them.
Yeah, just like basically a month's worth was a lot. It's a good thing we still lived at home at that time.
Yeah. You were trying to do that now? No?
I couldn't afford it.
I couldn't afford it.
I'd be, like, my car would be getting repoed, my school loans would be gone.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to get to school because I wouldn't have gas money.
Yeah, so Colt's mom saw us trying to recreate that, and I think she was kind of suspicious there at the time, and I think we kind of BS'd our way out of it fairly well.
I BS'd my way out of a lot of stuff.
Was that first night? Was that the story of the cot night, or is that a different time?
I think that was a different time.
Now, should we wait for Connor to tell the story, or should we just go ahead and tell it?
I'll leave that one up to you.
I feel like I should text him, but he's at work right now, so we'll go ahead and decide for him, just because we've told this story before. We won't go into the vulgar details, that stuff that were said, but Connor's a very lovey-dovey drunk. He loves to love up on people. There's like... for me, it depends on what mood I'm in earlier. Normally, I just get amplified on my goofiness a little bit. My shirt comes off. I'm all happy-go-lucky. Colt's pretty much the same way, except he keeps his shirt on.
Sometimes it comes off.
That cabin got really hot sometimes.
It does, but it's either hot or cold. There is no in between there.
Yeah.
And when you drink and start laughing, you get hot. Like right now, I'm actually a little warm still.
Yeah, I'm still a little warm. It's also probably because, I had to turn off the heat and turn off the ceiling fan above us so we wouldn't go into the mic. But that's beside the point.
We do that for you guys.
For you. All for you. Everything we do is just for you. So hit that like and subscribe button and tell your friends and everybody else. Love you. So we're drinking, and like I said, Connor's a bit of a lovey-dovey drunk. And let's just say some things were said that probably shouldn't have been said that changed our friendship. Not towards me, it was towards Colt. And we're not going to say exactly what he said because I think Connor would appreciate us not saying what he said. If he wants to come on sometime, like I plan on having him on sometime, and he wants to say it, maybe we'll do that this Sunday. We'll invite him over for WrestleMania. We'll just come back in here. Well, not WrestleMania, it's Royal Rumble. What am I doing? Why am I on crack here? We'll just have him tell it, but if he wants to say it. But he was so drunk, he couldn't stay on his own cot. We had to take our two cots. We made a Connor sandwich out of the two of us to make sure he wouldn't roll off. And let's just say some pillows were placed to make sure things weren't going to be happening. Some of Connor's favorite things that he told me while we were drinking was this is back at his house when we help kind of renovate his house with him and everything. He just remembers one night waking up and I'm playing NHL 14. God damn it, Quincy! I think he still wants to buy me a Red Wing jersey that says Quincy on it, and I would wear it with pride. I'd be like, yes, Connor, look. See,
It would have to say, "God damn it!"
Yeah,
Quincy,
it has to say, "God damn it, Quincy" on it. Totally different. Again, one of those things happens after high school. I know I'm jumping around. You guys are probably getting a little annoyed at that, a little confused with that. I'm sorry. Stick with us. I know we're an hour in. If you seriously stuck in with this hour, I am thoroughly impressed. My hat, I don't even have a hat, but it feels which is weird because I always wear hats. Even inside, I wear hats now. It's kind of weird, but. My hat's off to you, and I salute you. And you guys are troopers. And if you guys keep doing this, and this is what you guys want, keep doing it. So, we had a lot of drinking nights, though, didn't we?
We did.
We never drank and drive.
No, that was one thing we always said was... Because, the field we were in, we saw enough of it. It's one of those, we're not going to be that stupid. So,
I didn't really get into the field until after high school there.
Sure.
That was after my aunt's house burned down, and then I signed the papers the next day.
Pretty much.
But he was in it. Colt's been, how long have you been in it since you were 14?
Mm-hmm.
So it's been, 9 years now? You've been?
8.5.
8.5? You've been?
Because it was August 2010.
So, side note, our fire department in our town is volunteer. So you can join at 14, go on the Explorer program. You get voted on at 18. You could be a full-fledged firefighter. Colt's been, it's in his family. It's in his blood. He's been doing it, like I said, he's been doing it a lot longer. I think I'm on my 4th year now, 4th or 5th. Because I've had my license almost 4 years now, which I had to renew it next year. So, 4 or 5 years now I've been doing it. He's been doing it for almost 9 now. So he's he's what we'd call a grizzled vet, I guess, by now at 23 of age, because his birthday was a couple weeks ago, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But, he saw enough of it. That was his only rule. We were not allowed to drink and drive. If he felt, even in the next morning, if we were still in too bad of shape, we wouldn't do it, because in our small town, you always hear the people drink, driving, and getting into accidents. We've had a few deaths. It wasn't really during our time; it was before us. But I think our gym was named after a guy who died in a drunk driving accident, wasn't it?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So, we knew that was one thing, because we couldn't really explain that one to our parents, and we just didn't want that to happen. So we were smart about that, at least. One of the few things we were probably smart about in our very early on career. But there's so many more. It's just one of those things where I guess we could just go into the videotapes then. You want to just go straight into that? Is that what you want to do here?
Videotapes.
Okay, yeah, let's just... The one thing I never thought we'd actually talk about and on a recording, and...
You said you were going to put them on YouTube before.
I did, yeah, but...
this is your way of putting them on there.
I wish I still had that phone. I would just straight up just start playing the recordings. So, Colt was single at this time. And he was telling us, he was texting this girl, Snapchatting this girl, who was not single at the time. But their relationship was really weird. He's dying right now. I'm sorry. I know you guys can't see it, but Colt is hands in the face, laughing, like he doesn't know what's about to happen, when he knows exactly what's about to happen. So we're drunk, and I get the idea, this is funny. We're funny. I'm going to start recording this. Which is kind of really what started this whole podcast idea. Were those nights, 5-6 years ago. And so, like I said, he'd been talking to this girl, and he just decides to go with, we're recording, and I turn the camera to him. He goes, "Hey," and I'm not going to say the person's name because, again, reasons. He goes, "I want you to know, you may be engaged to your girlfriend, but your girlfriend is engaged to my Peter with her mouth." Because wasn't her rule she would blow you and that wasn't cheating, but if she kissed you, that was cheating.
Yeah.
Most fucked up rule I've ever heard of, people. I mean, honest to God, I remember him telling us that, and I think Connor was smoking at the time, and I think that cigarette damn near fell out of his mouth. Oh shit, that reminds me of another time. We're going to finish the story, and then I've got the next one here, because this is...
Okay.
Yeah, Colt knows it now. But so...
Sorry, that was TJ's mating call.
Oh my God. But so... and then Connor was just so drunk. He was trying to head bomb his way into the frame there. Like, "Hey guys, fuck you." Connor never really had a good comebacks or anything. It was just, "Fuck you." But that's just, we love Connor. We really do. But so, I mean, I just remember, and it was so weird because that dude that we're not going to mention his name was in our PE class.
He was.
And he knew, he knew. But you're just you've always said, you can bullshit your way out of anything, and if you can't bullshit your way out of it, you're going to fight your way out of it. And he was able to bullshit his way. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Here's my phone. You can look through it. Because you would just be smart and delete your messages. And you had the agreement. Don't text me during school. Text me afterwards.
And we would actually go to basketball games. Whenever they had basketball games, we'd hang out.
Didn't he play basketball too? That was the weird...
No. But he was sitting next to her, and I would walk in, and she would get up and walk over to me, and he would give me this death glare. Because I remember there was a few times, he would come up to me, and I went in the bathroom one time, and he tried threatening me, saying he was going to kick my ass. Yeah. And that's, like TJ said, I'm like, over what? I didn't do anything. I'm just talking because you and your fiance are getting in a fight, and we're friends.
Which, they got engaged, his junior year, her sophomore or freshman year?
Her sophomore.
So it was one of those things where it's that young high school Romeo and Juliet love. I think everyone kind of really saw it coming at that point. I don't even think they speak to each other. I don't even know where they are anymore. I don't think it really matters either. But...
I was going to say, it doesn't matter. I know she's...
doing her own thing. We don't want to give out any incriminating shit. But let's see. God, Where do we go from there now? Like,
well, you said you're.
Well, yeah. So Tinder. You'll hear a lot of my Tinder adventures because, boy, did I have some really good Tinder adventures. I feel, and I have no shame in admitting I was on Tinder. I just have shame in some of my acquaintances I've met on Tinder.
We all have those.
Yeah, Colt loves my Tinder stories sometimes. Those were some of our best moments. But so there's this girl, and she played softball for a school that was nearby. And I was like, oh, that's cool. I play baseball, you know. And I didn't realize the day that we matched, she was in our hometown playing that day. I didn't go see her because I had my own thing I had to do. I think I was with you that day. And so we just decided that, hey, you know, one day she Snapchats me, like, hey, I've got 2 friends. You've got 2 friends. Let's go meet up at the bowling alley. And so I'm like, okay, well, I want to see your 2 friends. I'll send you the photo of my 2 friends, and we'll kind of pair them off. Well, let's just say my 2 friends did not like the way her 2 friends looked. One of them looked a little ratchet, and the other one she didn't look bad, I guess.
I was like, it was a 2 out of 3, and we were kind of taking like rock, paper, scissors or doing something to figure out who would have to take the bullet for this one.
I remember.
Because TJ had his, and it was actually me and Connor were the other 2.
Yeah. God, Connor might hate me for this, but I'll go ahead and say it. I remember Connor goes, guys, I can't do this. I haven't shaved in like a month. Like, Connor, your face is pale. Like it's bare. Not what I'm talking about, guys. And then he showed it to us, didn't he? Like, that's when he just like, look at this. And we're like, Jesus Christ, is that Osama bin Laden's beard down there? And like...
I'll say, Connor's one of those guys, whenever he was single, he didn't do any kind of upkeep. He just...
Welcome to the Amazon. Like...
And he took pride in...
He really did. He really did take pride in that, though. Like...
That was his main thing. And he even got laid with it somehow.
Well, you kind of helped with that at one point, but we won't do that.
Still owes me a steak.
We won't do that. We're not going into that.
Anyway, we were playing like rock, paper, scissors, trying to figure out who would have jump on the
I think
grenade.
we drew straws, didn't we? It got down to actually drawing straws. Like, I think we took our 3 straws we had from our Casey's, snipped one shorter. Well, I took out mine.
You already had the one you matched with, so it was like between me and Connor.
And so Connor, unfortunately, got the worst looking photo-wise one. So we decided we're going to go meet up at the bowling alley. And so we all go up there. We're dressed up. We went home. We got dressed up pretty good because, hey, you know what? It's going to be a good time. None of us have really been out because it wasn't often we were single, all 3 of us at the same time. One of us was usually always in a relationship. And so we met up at the bowling alley, and you guys always gave me shit for loving my hockey way too much. I take my hockey very serious. I have a passion for hockey. And I will get sidetracked if I see hockey highlights going on. So we're at this bowling alley. They're wanting to go ahead and get our shoes because we walk in and we see this trio of girls. One of them looks like the girl I am matched with. So we're like, oh, hey, maybe that's them. You know, we'll go get our shoes. We'll go meet them. And you guys are like, come on, let's go. I'm like, okay, cool.
Well, they were actually fairly good-looking girls. I'm like, okay, maybe the pictures were actually kind of worse.
Yeah. I don't look good in photos, but I just don't look good in general. So, but so we're heading to get the shoes, and I look over at the bar area, and I see hockey going on. I see it's my team, so I'm like, hey, I'm going to watch this highlight. I didn't know how they did today because I was hanging out with you guys. Let me watch this, and then we can go get our shoes. And so I finish the highlight, and I feel my phone buzzing, and I pull it up, and remember, I had that Nokia phone at the time, which, oh my god. Actually, that was the same night, wasn't it? We can do that story right after this one, where Bob got us fucking lost. But so... I get the text, hey, we're just about to walk in. So clearly they're not the 3 girls sitting over there in the corner. And the next thing we know, and guys, I don't normally discriminate or anything like this. Like Colt and I, like we're not, you know, like I said, we're some chunky brothers here. But they couldn't walk in the same door, and they were double doors, people. I'm not kidding. But am I wrong though? Like
You're not.
I mean. And I remember, I don't remember who went, nope. And like I said, we don't run. We do not run. Unless we have to. And when I say we ran through the opposite doors of that place, we ran. I still feel a little terrible for it, just a little.
I do too, but it's one of we wouldn't have had fun.
But we were a young Colt and TJ and Connor at the time. We were not yet grown. We did not have our fully established set of morals at this point. We were still growing, and so we ran. We got in the car. We took off. We ditched them before even making contact with them.
Do you remember the excuse, though?
I do remember the excuse, though. We gave them a fake name of one of our buddies, said that he had a fire call and we had to go, and said that we would reschedule at a later date. We never rescheduled at a later date.
We were terrible people sometimes.
So, but we really liked the idea of going bowling at that time. And we're like, man, well, let's go over to the next town and let's go bowling there. So Connor was driving, you were passenger seat, but I think your phone was dead or dying or something like that. So I had to pull it up on my Nokia Windows phone. Now, this thing, it was a piece of junk. It lasted forever, but man, you couldn't do anything on it. And so I typed in the address I found on the internet for the bowling alley, because we didn't know where it was. I didn't know that place had a bowling alley there for a while, And so we go looking for it, and it's telling us to take a left, and then we go down this really just sketchy part of this town, and it's telling us to take a right down the opposite way of a one-way. So we're like, no, we can't do that. It's telling us then to go straight 2 miles and make a legal U-turn. We're in a cul-de-sac. We can't go straight 2 miles because we see the end. We want to go straight 2 miles through some cornfields. That's fine. We end up pulling up in this gas station in the sketchy part of town. Hey, where's the bowling alley for this place, And they ended up pulling us, and I think that started a tradition there. Or every Thursday night, wasn't it? We started every Thursday night. We went bowling, which we were terrible at. Still not any good at it. And then we went to beat-ups for 65-cent boneless wings, and every once in a while we'd throw in a movie. Mm-hmm. I still don't know how we had money for that one either, but somehow we made it work, because it was every Thursday.
We were amazing at budgets whenever we were younger.
Yeah, we found a way just to make it happen.
Pretty much. Like, we would always, like Tia said, we'd make it happen. And I guess it was one of those, since we wanted to, that's pretty much the only thing we did. We didn't spend money on anything else. We saved it up. We had our wings, we had bowling, and we knew how much it was going to cost.
Yep. And so, I mean, that's our tradition that continued on for, years. It was. And hopefully I can continue that, because I won't be working Thursdays much very long anymore. So, but so we went bowling that night, and then I think we met probably the coolest guy at the bowling alley, who was the guy working there. And he showed us those Rage Quit videos. You remember those? The Impossible Game Rage Quit? I don't know how many times we watched those, man. And that was so many. I know probably one of our least mentioned, probably favorite nights was you and I were cruising around one night, and we were over near Connor's neck of the woods. And we're like, wonder what Connor's doing. Called him, didn't answer. Keep calling him, no answer. We know he's not asleep because we see him on Facebook, Mm-hmm. And so we go on there, and we pull up in this driveway. And next thing I know, I'm getting a text. Why are you in my driveway with a Colt? Well, we tried calling you. And next thing I know, we see in the front, like the little side door there, Connor, headset on, PlayStation 3 controller, underwear. That's it. And he's like, what the fuck are you guys doing? We're like, hey, we got booze. You want to come here? All right, I'll be in a minute. Get into the truck. We have no booze. He's upset. But now he's in the truck. Now he can't leave, Because the way the doors were set, you could get in the back, but you could not get out the back unless the person in the front let you out. I think we kidnapped him and took him to Taco Bell. I think we could actually get charged with kidnapping for that one.
Was that night that everything from Taco Bell happened? Went to Walmart?
No.
Okay, that was a different night.
I think that was post high school. Remember, I didn't really talk about it during high school.
Yeah, you got a point.
That was all post high school. You guys were just trying to keep me cheered up and everything at that point. But I think that was the night of the toolbox. So I'll let you tell it.
Okay, so Old Blue was an old '98 GMC pickup.
Missed that truck.
It was a great truck. Like, that thing, if that thing could talk, it would tell so many memories.
I would just park it in here and let it tell.
Pretty much. Like, that would be my nighttime story every single night for probably about a decade, because it would have so many stories. But I just had one of those toolboxes you throw in like the bed. Got it from Royal King. So we went up to Taco Bell it was like, what, 1 o'clock in the morning?
Oh, yeah, it was late. We had school the next day, too. I remember that, because that was Connor's big gripe. Guys, we got school in like 6 hours. Why are we out here right now?
Because it's Taco Bell, Connor. But we ran up there and we were heading back home.
Bad case of senioritis, that's what that was.
Pretty much, like, we gave no shits. And we're heading home. And the road we're coming back to Toledo on was probably one of the bumpiest roads I've ever been on. Like, it's worse than most country roads. And we're going down it and bumping along and everything. And looking out the back glass, like, I couldn't see anything out the mirror. So I'm like, okay, it's middle of the night. Maybe it's just really dark.
I'll stop you real quick. Was the toolbox the same night of those bets? Where you placed the 50 and the 100 down?
No.
No, okay. We'll do that one next, though.
That was...
Or was that post-high school? I guess we can still tell it, though. But
that was the same night because you didn't want to do the bet because you were pissed off.
Okay, yeah, that was.
Okay, but Connor turns around and he's like, no, I can't see anything out the back window. Something's in there. And I look out one of my other mirrors and I'm like, shit, my toolbox lid came up. So I pull over. It's middle of the night. There's absolutely no cars on this road. And I'm getting back there, getting it all, trying to make sure it's latched down. And I see this car coming up and they're going awful slow. And they just stop on the other side and it says Coles County Sheriff.
Yep.
And we're like, shit.
We're not even in Coles County at that point. We were back in Cumberland County.
He was going home.
Yeah, he was going home. He had to drop somebody off at the Toledo jail.
Yeah. Like, he was doing that. And, like, we weren't doing anything, but it's one of those, like, I still wasn't 100% sure if we could get in trouble for
being out past curfew, technically, because we weren't 18.
I thought we were 18 because he asked.
I didn't think we were 18 yet. I think he did ask. I remember that. I think we lied straight to his face about it, and he just kind of took our word for it because he saw that we had Taco Bell.
But, okay, so, yeah, we were 17 because that's one of those bullshit Mohead in any situation.
Yep.
And we're out, and Connor and TJ are in the truck. I'm doing that, and like I said, he walks over, asks, he's like, is everything okay? I'm like, yeah, I told him what's going on. He's like, well, I didn't know if you hit a deer or something. I know they're out right here. I'm like, no, we're good. And he looks at my truck and everything, make sure we don't have drugs, hookers, bombs, whatever. And he saw Taco Bell just sitting right there in the middle. He's like, did you guys really drive up just to get Taco Bell? And I looked at him like, maybe. It's like, it's 1 o'clock in the morning on wasn't it like a Thursday?
It was like a random Thursday or something like that.
I'm like,
you could not separate us in high school, and even after high school, you could not separate us for the longest time. Right. It was something of nightmares sometimes. I'm sure, like
pretty much if I wasn't home, my parents assumed I was either with TJ or Connor or both.
Yep.
But
no, he was just like, did you guys really drive 30 minutes one way to go get Taco Bell? Yes, sir. Yes, we did.
He's like, I did the same thing, so I can't really say much.
Yeah, right? Like, he goes, I don't blame you guys. Talking about some good stuff. And then they just asked if we were drunk or high. We're like, no, sir, you can test us if you want to. He goes, nah, I trust you. I don't smell anything.
Yeah, he's like, I'm going home. I don't want to have to fill out extra paperwork anymore.
Paperwork, yeah. But, oh, man.
He was a cool dude.
He was a cool dude.
Like, just stop and sit there, and he was just laughing, making sure we were okay on his way home. Like, but that's how we met. Actually, some of the coolest people we've ever come across is just random trips.
Yes.
And like out random places.
Yep. You remember St. Patty's Day at Steak and Shake with Parker when he just got that new vehicle?
Yes.
And he went down that really sketchy ass road.
It was out through the middle of the country, and yeah, he just went down. I don't even remember why we were doing it.
I think he just wanted to see how well his vehicle could do it.
Yeah.
And that, because he just got it that day. And I think the next day he took it to the shop because he thought something was wrong. But it turns out he just fucked up his wheels or some shit, you know?
Yeah, because we were going through monster truck ruts in a little Ford Escape.
I think you could have hit a small child in some of those holes. Like, it was that big. And I remember just St. Patty's night in a college town, man. Some interesting people go to Steak and Shake at 2 in the morning for all-you-can-eat pancakes. Oh. Yeah, now that I've mentioned Steak and Shake and all-you-can-eat pancakes.
That kind of goes along with the whole right after high school, like with the whole bets and...
Yep. we could tease it going a little after high school. We could tell some of the stories, or we'll tease some of it. But like, I want to get the story because I remember there's that guy who got thrown out of the Steak and Shake for being too loud and then threw up on a waitress. Like, that does not happen. Like, but we saw this happen, and man, that was just some good stuff.
So like, we felt bad for the waitress, but we were also dying laughing at the same time. Because this dude was hammered.
Yeah, and like, I'm pretty sure he threw up green from all the green mixed drinks he had that night over at the... Didn't he say he was at the Paw or something like that?
He was at the Paw and came over for Steak and Shake.
I mean, props to him. At least he had a designated driver that night.
He did, but I'm pretty sure his DD waited and finished his food.
Yeah.
And then he went out and took him.
He just took his buddy out to the car and goes, I'll be right back. I need to eat. I'm hungry. You know, like... But so... I guess the last thing I can really think of, and this ties in well after our high school years as well, our piston tree.
I still stop that piston tree.
You still have to stop at that piston tree every once in a while? Like, there's this tree out in the middle of BFE. We don't know how it's alive, because anytime we were driving, we'd be like, I gotta piss. Hey, I do too. So we just went out to this tree that was out in the middle of BFE, right off 130, and we just go piss on it. Or around it, you know. That thing probably has half our DNA somehow shoved into it, you know, like...
I think the reason we stopped at that was because it was the only tree
in that entire
fields.
area, yeah.
Like, the rest of it was barren, and then there was a house with a machine shed probably like a half mile down the road.
Which we were swear people could see us from there, too, still, but...
They couldn't see our dicks from there,
I can't even see my dick half the time as it is, so...
Like, people could have driven by and been like, why is there water coming out from his belly button?
You remember one person did drive by, but we were midstream. We could not stop it, you know?
It's like you'd watch, because you could see 130. I mean, middle of the night, you can see forever.
Yeah.
In a town with fields, as long as fields are down. And we'd be going through and like he said, we'd be about midstream staring at 130. You'd just see cars turn off. It's like, oh God, hurry up. Like, I need to get this out right now before they get here.
I remember driving through, getting completely lost, ended up in the Jasper County bottoms, and seeing those sketchy fields and everything. Oh, we were driving. We decided we didn't want to stay where we had, you know, we wanted to expand our territory. We wanted to see how far we could go. It was like a Saturday night or something. We had nothing to do the next day. So we went to the next county over, and we got lost really bad. And we ended up, I don't know where this was. I still can't find this place to this day, you know, because I've tried to find it. Just a random light pole. No trees around, no nothing. Random light pole, middle of the field, and it was flickering. And I'm just like, holy crap. Get us the fuck out of here, Cole. Like,
you were driving.
Was I driving?
That was in your Pontiac.
Oh, that was in my Pontiac. The one I thought that was a 4-wheel drive truck that we could take sometimes. Because I know we mentioned this earlier. I'll go ahead and tell this one now. And then I'll tell this story of why my passenger side rear didn't work on my Pontiac at the time.
Or the mirror.
Yeah, I guess I could tell the mirror one as well. But so... we were driving. I was delivering pizzas. Had a very emotional night, very rough night. I'm not going to go into details because you guys don't want the sad, depressing details. You guys just want the funny stories. And I thought I knew the road I was going down. I did not know the road I was going down. Spoiler alert. It had been raining cats and dogs that day. And my Pontiac, which I treated as a monster truck sometimes, I got a mile in. Realized I was on a field access road, going already past the house, turned around, got stuck, bawled my eyes out because I was so emotional and frustrated and everything. Call Colt. He comes out, asks me, what the fuck am I doing? And he's like, I'll just take you back to Kim. And Kim was just like, well, I'll call the tow company, the tow company. This is on us. I didn't tell you where it was at because we had a giant map. Kim knew where everything was and where everyone was, it seemed like. And just, she goes, don't try and go out and get it yourselves. I said, to hell with that, like, we gonna go get it ourselves. And so Colt, we went out there and he hooked up the tow straps he had to the back, hooked up underneath the front. I got behind. I started trying to push my car. And we eventually got it out. It took us, 45 minutes?
By the time we actually got it out on the road and everything, probably. Which we had, like, running back and forth probably took a good half hour.
Yeah. You were just impressed. I not only went through there, but started coming back and only got stuck in what you thought was the easier part of the road.
Because, that was an old Blue, and that thing had four-wheel drive, and I was having trouble getting through some of those parts.
Like I said, when I treated my Pontiac like a monster truck, it's because I thought it could handle it. Like, that thing was a beast and a half sometimes. And I was so sad when we had to crush that thing, you know. But, so the reason why my back passenger right side door didn't work, I had an ex that I was with at the time. And I'm not going to say what all had happened that night. I'll just say it was homecoming night, and that's all you people need to know. And I was taking her home, and she wanted to make out while we were driving. I'm not going to turn that down. You know, I'm a young, dumb-ass kid. I'll fucking do that. So we started doing that, and I hit the gravel as I was going 65 down this road. Spin my car sideways and take out this no passing zone sign. I'm like, oh, shit. My parents are going to kill me, you know? Oh, my goodness, you know? And so she's crying. I'm pissed. I don't know what I'm going to do. So I take her home, and I end up just I'll figure it out. Don't worry. We're not going to be in any trouble. We'll be fine. Go back, and I go, and I tell my mom that this deer had just came out and had ran into the side of my car right after I had just dropped her off and everything. And mom being mom, she was very worried to make sure I was okay first. And then she goes, well, let's go check it out. Let's go try and find the deer. And I'm like, shit. She wants to go look for a deer now? Where the hell am I going to find a deer this time of night to say, yep, I hit that one? But she was pretty suspicious. She goes, that doesn't look like a deer hit the side of your car. You wait till your father gets home, and we'll see what he thinks of it. And he didn't think it was a deer that hit the side of my car. And I knew it wasn't a deer that hit the side of my car. And so I kind of took a page out of Colt's playbook. I'll BS my way out of it as best I can. I stood my ground. I was adamant about it. I did my best to defend my position. And they just dropped it, you know. They knew. There's no way they didn't know. There's no way anybody didn't know. But I remember my window would roll down on its own sometimes. And it was great, during the summer. Didn't have to worry about rolling down. The winter, it sucked, because I remember having to tape that son of a bitch up, you know. Remember once you remember when I locked myself out? And I'm you're like, ah, shit, now we have to call something. I'm like, nope. Whoop, just pulled the window down from the outside, unlock it, crawl in front, grab the keys, and we were good, you know. And the reason why I lost my rear view mirror, I'm actually pretty sure I told my parents this one. I think Dad was a little proud of me for this one, because remember earlier when we were talking about those country roads and you knew what they were going on? Well, this is prom night on one of those country roads, and she's like, I think I see headlights. And I'm like, what? So I jump forward, completely just butt-ass naked. Heel kicks the rear view mirror, knocks it completely down. Turns out, I don't think it was you, but someone was pulling into their driveway up there at the time, because you were trying to pull over and they're just doing the same thing we were doing, you know, so that's how I lost my rear view mirror on that car, and my driver, just the motor burned out on that one. But man, high school is crazy. I didn't think my high school experience would ever be like that, you know.
I don't think anybody does, but it's one of those. Most of these stories are the ones that weren't planned. It was just random stuff.
Yeah, I have this shit you just can't even make up, and you'll realize that more after high school. It only gets worse. I can't even tell you right now how it got worse or how the stories get better, because I want you to come back for the next one, because the very next one, hopefully we might even just do this Sunday, from what we were talking about earlier. Just be like, this is just 2 years of our lives that we were talking about right here. This isn't, a span of 5 or 6 years. We've been talking almost an hour and a half, just junior and senior year of high school. And we've missed a lot of stories. I know it. A lot of them were just random stories God, no, we didn't kill that raccoon going down those roads that make my balls go into my stomach and you're all blue, but we did kill it in your Black Betty.
Mm-hmm. Also, that's an after high school
That's
one.
an after high school one. But I remember there was one crazy driving incident. I guess I could tell them this one about how I went through a cornfield once.
Okay.
While we're just on the topic of my parents, I can already feel their shame, and I know I'll be getting a text once they listen. Hopefully, they just stop listening at this point. They're like, "Oh my God, he just talks forever and ever and ever. We've heard these stories, TJ. Shut up!" Click, and hopefully they don't make it this far. But if they do, Dad might give me another attaboy. Like kind of what I'm hoping. Mom will be shameful. My girlfriend probably won't be the happiest, but she actually kind of, like, I'm not sure she enjoys, but she just shakes her head and goes, "You've changed so much since then," And so, I was leaving McDonald's when I worked there at the time, and the girlfriend I had at the time was there, and she's like, "Hey, I'll just ride home with you." And I'm like, "Okay, that's fine by me." She goes, "Because I want to try something." And I'm like, "Oh, really?" And so, she tried giving me a peppermint patty while driving. And if you don't know Urban Dictionary, that shit, okay, or use your imagination, okay? I thought, again, I knew what road I was going down, and I did not know what road I was going down. And I ran up a ditch and ended up spinning around in circles in a cornfield. And that's the last time that ever happened. like we never tried that shit again afterwards. But man, and I know you've heard reference of the Hershey's Kiss story. I'm sorry, I'm not telling that story right now. You guys are gonna have to kind of prove to me that you guys want to hear this story. I want to see, because I'm not just like, this is easily probably one of the best stories you'll ever hear in your life. Or at least in my opinion, like, I'm not gonna lie. One time we were drinking one night, and we made a top 5 best of, and I think it was a unanimous one, if not number 2, because I know some people like the 2-minute ride story. But for me, my personal favorite is the Hershey's Kiss story. But like I said, you're just looking at 2 years, a year and a half probably, even snippet of our life, because it took us a little bit to kind of warm up to each other before we could start hanging out and everything outside.
It kind of did. I mean, we were hanging out in school, but it was one of those, like, we wouldn't really do anything outside of school. Really, we didn't get too close to start hanging out until Panks.
Yeah, until Panks. That's when we really, because I'm like, "Hey, I know you," and you're like, "Hey, you're not a douchebag coming out of me," like, because there were some tools that really worked there at the time when we worked there.
Oh yeah, there was.
But again, you guys have heard some of the teases on these stories. I want you guys to show me that you guys want these stories, because I know my parents listen to these, and they're already probably learning more than they wanted to about this. But again, I do it because I love telling these stories. They're funny. They make people laugh. And when I get old and have Alzheimer's or something, I want to be able to listen to these and not remember them. But I think that's really, we should probably just about wrapping this thing up. I need to get a new chair. How much this thing squeaks. Because I know, because I've done these recordings before, and you can hear it squeak every time. Like, I want a chair like Mila's got. She's got a really nice chair.
It's got a nice ass support.
Right?
Like some great ass support. If only I had an ass to support.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's okay. But so, again, if you guys have made it, this is over an hour and a half long. I'm gonna have to create some sort of clips to just make it where I can have a recording in the background for YouTube for this. But really, thank you guys for listening. This is going to be the official episode 1. This is something we've been talking about for a long time on doing these, and the fact that we're actually trying to start it, and get it going, and I'm just really happy about that we're doing this, and I know, God, we could probably make 7, 8, 9, 10 episodes just you and I, easy. Because we still have to talk about Thunder, we have to talk about Detroit, we have to talk about all our trips after. I think we might just have an entire episode dedicated to just the strip club stories.
We could do an entire episode
of just strip club. Yeah, I mean, we were bad kids after high school. Depression sucks.
I was gonna say we'll have to get into some of the why we were the way we were.
Yeah.
But we're not gonna go into huge detail and tell you every last detail.
This is a good kind of intro to the podcast. Like I said, this is episode 1. I do plan on having more people coming on and doing this stuff. I really want Colt to be my first guest, because you know, he is probably my brother from another mother. You know, like, there's nothing this kid hasn't seen me do, probably. And there's something we haven't talked about. And it's just one of those things where, you know, we may have started off as complete strangers, but it just goes to show that once you get to know somebody and you spend about probably an equivalent of a year inside somebody's vehicle with them enough, you, you get to know them a little well.
There's a lot of miles put on that truck.
A lot of miles put on the truck. The Grand Prix. Gabriel. Remember Gabriel? Another story just right there, you know. And then we can tell our fire department stories and just our EMS stories and how we almost became strippers ourselves. And just, I mean, like I said, I really wanted Colt to be my first person on this episode because, I mean, a lot of my crazy stories and a lot of who I am today came from just hanging out with him and being with him. We can tell the Larry story, too. That's another great story.
That could be a Connor one.
That could be the Connor one, too. So, hopefully we get Connor on here. Like I said, I'm probably getting Connor in here. You might get TK in here every once in a while. Milo will join us. John might join us. Byron might join us because we got some stories there. I mean, I've got like a whole slew of people that I can just call up and just make one of these sessions. You know, I haven't thought of an official name for the podcast. And so if you're still listening, give me ideas. Because like I've had some people say it should be the 30 Memes to Midnight podcast. Again, that's an inside joke between us, but it's a pretty good one. There's the Just Your Average podcast, which is kind of bland. The What the Fuck podcast I've heard should be a thing. Just let me know if you got any good ideas, you know. I've heard of, like, the TP, the Teej podcast. I mean, it's just, or Teej and Friends. But I really appreciate you guys listening to all this, and I hope you guys kind of found these stories as funny as we did. Cole, you got any last words you want to say?
I'm good. I mean, just one of those, if you guys like all this stuff, let them know and just keep bringing it. Like he said, we got plenty of stories, so you don't have to worry about us running out. And if nothing else, we'll just go make more stupid stories to come tell you guys.
Yeah, no, because we graduate. You finish nursing, I finish medic about the same time. That's going to be a hell of a trip. I know it. You know, like we need to start planning that. We really do. Whether we go over to like Louisville or go back up to Detroit and go to the casinos up there, or we take 66 like we've always talked about. Mm-hmm. We gotta do something, you know. Like that'll probably be the last time we ever graduate, you know, and it'll be something great. So again, thank you guys for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed it and have a wonderful day.